Hello everyone, I'm going to be explaining why I'll be continuing to support Melanie Martinez despite the rape allegations. Let's dive right in. First off, there's zero concrete evidence for any side. There's no way to prove Melanie raped Timothy, and there's no way to prove she didn't. All of this is basically speculation. There's also no new information. However, based on screenshots I've seen and will show in here and the logic of my perspective, it leads me to believe Timothy is potentially lying, but nobody is 100% for sure. Here are my main points. Number 1. The date change. This is probably one of my weakest points, but it will prove something later on. When Timothy was asked about the date of the assault, she claimed it was June 25th. That could not have been true as Melanie was on tour and was in an entirely different state than Timothy. When Timothy had been called out for this, she backpedaled and claimed to not have remembered and just assumed because of a selfie she had taken. Yes, the date does not matter because Melanie confirmed that they did in fact have a sleepover. And yes, forgetting dates and having blurry memories can be causes of past trauma. But if you don't know the exact date for sure, especially when you're accusing a celebrity of rape, why would you carelessly guess a date like that? Why didn't you just admit that you didn't know exactly when it happened the first time? Again, this point will tie in with another point later on. Number 2, the interview. Recently on YouTube, I stumbled across a video with Timothy Heller and a 15-year-old. Timothy agreed to do a live stream and get interviewed by a 15-year-old who supported her side. This is extremely weird and immature of Timothy to talk with a 15-year-old about rape. If Timothy was innocent and wanted to convince people, why would she go to a minor? Shouldn't she be having an interview with an adult? Minors can also be easily influenced and manipulated as their brains have not fully developed. The whole interview is just biased. Another thing I'd like to bring up that's kinda irrelevant is how Timothy kept looking to the side and touching her face when answering questions. Usually this type of behavior and body language is a sign of lying, which is proven in studies in human psychology. Although she could have been nervous, or that's just how she is when talking, so we don't know for sure because the study is not accurate for everyone. It's still definitely something to keep in mind. The YouTube video will be linked in the description. Number 3. Bringing it up whenever Melanie is on tour. This is also a weak point, but something I'd like to mention. When Timothy first came out about the assault in 2017, which was 2 years later after the alleged assault, Melanie Martinez was on tour. She only came out about it when Melanie was starting to become successful in her career. Not many people believed her and bullied her off the internet, doxing her and her family. Now, I do not support the actions of what the fans did. There is no excuse for treating someone like that or even doxing. I hope Timothy Heller was doing okay, and I'm glad she took a break from the toxicity of the internet. I don't wish those types of attacks on anyone. Lying or not, she did not deserve that treatment at all. Back on topic, she came back again, I think a week ago by the time I'm making this. She repeated her claim and her only motive of doing that was to just let people know what she did. Many more people are beginning to believe her again, and I don't blame them. But the timing is odd. Timothy is accusing Melanie again when she's on tour. This is the second time she has publicly accused Melanie. But how come both times she did it was when Melanie was on tour? Could she be jealous of her fame? And the people on Timothy's side are saying it might have been because she was upset that Melanie was getting recognition again and that people forgot all about her claims. She also said her intent was only to spread the word. While that may be true, I have a hard time believing that. Why are you calling her out on the internet twice? Shouldn't you at least bring her into court? A lot of people are saying that no one would believe her, the justice system is screwed, the police won't care, but not every police officer is the same. Not every judge is the same. Why doesn't she at least try to do something? She has made no attempts to contact the police or get a lawyer. This isn't an issue to deal with on the internet, it's a serious crime that law enforcement needs to be involved in. But she supposedly just wants to let people know. Are those really her intentions? Or is she afraid of facing punishment for false accusations, such as arrest or jail? Sure, she could be spreading knowledge to people so that they don't support her and demand for Melanie to tell the truth. Unless Melanie was already telling the truth in 2017. This point will tie into another point in the video. Number 4, lying about consent. This point just proves that someone here is lying. Melanie's statement in 2017 is being used against her. The stands on Timothy's side are twisting her words. Here are the exact quotes Melanie said. "She never said no to what we chose to do together." People are using that sentence out of context, and that the phrase "she never said no" is a common saying for rapists. But here are the key words: we chose and together. Melanie is implying here that they made the decisions and agreed to them. She did not mean that Timothy never said no or was silent. Timothy also said in her statement that she said no multiple times, yet Melanie is saying she never said no, aka she meant Timothy consented and said yes. Here's a point of view to consider. Melanie's responses were very kind-hearted towards Timothy and didn't let her get that much attention, which could be what Timothy was after. This may imply that Melanie knows Timothy to be an attention seeker and decided to not give in to her drama while still staying modest about it. Number 5. The other side. While the people on Melanie's side are gathering evidence that dates way back to 2015, I have yet to see a member on Timothy's side gather any evidence at all. The only proof that Timothy's side has is just debunking our points, but I don't blame them. A lot of them are easy to debunk and see a different point of view. We managed to gather actual screenshots of the sleepover that included Melanie being handcuffed and blindfolded. Which leads me into my next point. Number 6. Strange behavior. While doing my research, I found screenshots of Timothy dressing up as Melanie Martinez a while after the supposed sexual assault happened. If you're so traumatized by your abuser, why are you dressing up like them? It's very odd. There's also a video where Timothy said that she ended her friendship with Melanie in 2016 and was trying to defend her statements in the interview. But in 2017, she ended up still being friends with Melanie Martinez. That doesn't make sense. It seems to be a hole in Timothy's story.
Recorded You Now interview that I did with Sophia. The part where I say it must have been 2016, I was referring to when Melanie decided to stop being my friend, not the incident. The incident happened in 2015. She stopped being my friend in 2016.
But I just want to know one thing. You ready? Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Here's where one of the points tie in. If you can't get the date right, if you can't even get the years between your friendship right, and if you're still obsessing over Melanie and cosplaying her after everything happening with the assault, then it's logical that I find myself questioning if it even happened at all. Number 7. Timothy's character. Timothy isn't some golden angel. I mean, none of us are. She has said horrible stuff in the past. Yes, bad things can happen to bad people. Of course it does. But it really makes you wonder something. If Timothy is repeatedly saying the N-word, doesn't give a crap about the history of what African Americans went through, is insensitive to 6 million people being slaughtered like animals, and is supporting Nazis, then it's not crazy to think she's faking serious allegations. Can you really blame me for questioning her? She's not afraid to support off of people, and she would definitely not be afraid to make up a huge lie for attention, because she knows there would be people rushing to her side. That may be another reason why she called Melanie out a second time. Again, I am aware bad things happen to bad people. I know her character has nothing to do with her supposedly getting raped. But actions resemble the true intentions and personality of the person, which is making me doubt Timothy and not be able to trust her. Again, no concrete evidence, this is my logic. People say and do crazy stuff for clout all the time. They will say the most offensive stuff ever to gain attraction, even if it's just for 20 minutes. People are also saying this. Oh, you can't just accuse someone of sexual assault to get clout. That's a huge thing. It could ruin someone for life, even if it's not true. Now this ties into my final point. Number 8. Motive. My Melanie tour point ties into this as well. Her intentions and motives may not be simply letting people know and spreading the word. I believe Timothy Heller is only accusing Melanie Martinez for 2 reasons: clout and revenge. She may not only be bringing this up for attention, but because Melanie is beginning to do so well again with her new album, Timothy wants to ruin her career. Why? There could be various possible explanations. She wants revenge for getting bullied off the internet. She wants revenge because barely anyone believed her. She wants revenge because they're no longer friends and she's hurt. She wants revenge because she could potentially be mentally ill or jealous. I don't know. Again, there's no concrete evidence for either side. I completely understand why people would believe Timothy, Melanie, or stay neutral. I understand why people believe guilty until innocent or that they always side with the victim until there's proof. And I'm not hating on anyone for anything. I'm just explaining my point of view on the situation and the logic behind my reasoning. All of this is my perspective on the situation. None of it is 100% valid, so it may not convince you, and that's okay. I just believe in the side that makes more sense to me. You can twist my points, you can find flaws in them, and trust me, I know there's a few, but I'm too lazy to write them out and defend myself on them. I just feel like based on the past actions of Timothy, the screenshots I found, and Melanie's statement, it inclines me to trust Melanie more. I'm open to discussions, but please do not attack me for my opinions and beliefs on the situation. Thank you for hearing me out.